Welcome to Nitty Gritty Real Estate. In this series, we're interviewing Matthew Cox. He's infamous for committing millions of dollars in mortgage fraud, for which he served 12 years in prison. He has an ugly past, no doubt, but we're looking beyond that to learn from his unique perspective in the industry so that we can become better real estate investors. Let's get into it. And we want to talk about how you can be your own worst enemy in real estate. Procrastination can be a big hurdle for a lot of people. You have to take, personal responsibility for yourself. You can't be blaming, mistakes and shortcomings and things like that on other people. I mean, that's kind of core fundamental real estate investing, I think, is just taking that responsibility. I mean, if you can't get past that, then where are you going to go from there?
Right. Well, I mean, I think a lot of people, they look for somebody to blame. So,
yeah.
I mean, I can see that. I see that all the time, or I used to see that all the time, was people were constantly looking for someone to blame when things go wrong. They don't want to admit that they made a bad call, or, it's their fault that the air conditioner got stolen, or that they didn't take the proper precautions, or like I had this story about, the guy one time where I could have paid $400 to have a water heater installed by a professional, removed and installed. Instead, I went with a guy that wasn't licensed. He did work for a plumber. Mm-hmm. He said, I can do it for $150. He did it. He did it for $150. He did install the new water heater, but what he did instead was he left the old water heater, instead of removing it from the building, he just laid it on its side in the attic. And it ended up leaking in the attic, filled up the ceiling. The ceiling burst down. Water hit the hardwood floors. Hardwood floors bowed by the next day when I finally came in and saw it. Mm-hmm. And the truth is that had I paid the professional $400, I would have gotten the $400 job. He would have removed the water heater, mm-hmm. and I wouldn't have had what was easily $1,000 to $1,500 worth of repairs to do. That was my fault.
Yep.
I can't blame the guy that. I knew this guy wasn't a professional. I knew he was just a helper. I knew I was trying to save $250. I was trying to save $250, and I cost myself over $1,000. And I can't even blame him. It's my fault. I should have paid the extra money. I should have gone the extra step. I should have known something was going to go wrong. And I should have known that had something gone wrong, it was going to be my fault, because I didn't have a professional company that I could turn to and say, you're responsible for this. Mm-hmm. Those are all the things. Those are your responsibilities. All that falls on you.
On the subject of being your own worst enemy, procrastination is, a big element of that. Now, I know it's something I struggle with because, early on especially, I hated just like making tons of offers to sellers. When you have like a hot lead that you're working and you're negotiating and things are kind of going along the right path, that's different. But when you're like digging for deals, I hate that. And that's something I procrastinate with. So
it's cold calling.
Cold calling.
Nobody likes to cold call, but
but like you have to have some kind of stream or system where you have opportunities to take shots at.
But it's like the Zig Ziglar quote where it's you want that no, you know what I mean?
Because you're talking about making a low offer and they say no, you want that?
No, I'm saying you want to knock on those doors. You want to get that no because you're that much closer to the yes.
Oh, okay.
It's just it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
It's just you don't mind knocking on the door, making that phone. It's that whole mentality. You have to focus in on. I don't really care if you say no. Mm-hmm. Listen, I'll tell you, the one thing you're not going to run out of is houses. You're not going to exhaust deals. You're not going to exhaust houses. You may get exhausted looking for that deal because you don't want to hear no, 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 no. Yeah. But what does it matter if I hear no, 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 no? And to me, this is just basic. I don't mind having someone say no because you are that much closer to the yes. And if they say, look, if you call them up and you say, hey, look, here's what's going on. What's difficult? Convincing someone to do owner financing. You don't get to go out. You're not paying top dollar for the house. You're not giving them everything they want up front. You're not in a great negotiation. So you're calling people up and you're asking them to own or finance their house. A lot of people are going to say no, but you'd be shocked. More people will end up saying yes than you think. So you get there, and I've had them where I've gone out and I've put 5 contracts on a deal. 3 of them come back and they're going to own or finance the houses. All 5 of their realtors told them they said that they wouldn't own or finance. Yeah, I've done that over and over again, where the realtors are literally saying, well, I'm going to suggest that they don't own or finance the house.
And you're making the offer like through the realtor. I mean, the realtor just doesn't want to do it, but they're obligated to.
Yeah, they're obligated to put the offer in. And what happens is, look, how many times they said no? I can tell you how many times I've had someone say no, and then you have to leave them with that good taste in their mouth. You can't just say, oh, well, forget you, or you have to go, wow, I'm sorry, I totally understand that. I wish you could see it from my point of view, but look, no big deal. I know you're going to sell your house, and I know it's going to work out for you. And hey, best of luck to you. And if you change your mind, by all means, please give me a call back. And you give them, you give them the soft blow off, or you accept the no from them. And a lot of times, they'll come back in a few days and say, okay, explain this to me again. I can't tell. This happened a ton of times. Had realtors come back a week later. Okay, tell me how this is going to work one more time. Oh, okay. So
yeah, they're curious.
Yeah, they're curious. And what's funny is it gets easier and easier. It sucks, but here's the whole thing. If you go into the conversation hoping that person says no, knowing they're going to say no, not being a big deal, not needing them to say yes, because you can't get emotional about real estate. That's a mistake. You can't start thinking the houses you're buying, I'm going to fix it up just like I would if I wanted to live here. But you're not going to live here. Don't make those decisions. Make the generic decision. Go generic on everything for the property, because that way it fits more people. Don't start thinking, I really love burgundy walls. Well, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
So I want parquet floors. Well, a lot of people don't like parquet. So the point is that you call them up and you say, hey, and you make your pitch, and you be okay if they're going to say no. If they're going to say no, they're going to say no. It's not a big deal. What do you care? You're going to call the next person. There is a next person. Eventually you're going to get somebody who's going to understand that your offer is reasonable. I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
So if you go into it with, I don't mind if they say no, and I'm trying to help this person, then it's okay.
Right.
What's the big deal? I'm just calling up some people.
Well, so is there anything you would procrastinate with? And if so, like, how would you get around that?
I mean, taxes. I always hired somebody to do my taxes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's okay. Yeah. That's a point. If it's something you don't like to do, you can delegate that out or hire somebody to handle that, because there's critical things that have to happen.
Right.
And if
it's a large enough project,
and
I can't handle it, and it's worth it. It's like, look, I can mow my yard, but I don't mow my yard because my time is more valuable than mowing. Not that there's anything wrong with people that mow yards. I'm just saying in general, it's like that time is time. Instead of spending an hour mowing my yard, I'd rather spend an hour with the person I'm dating, or an hour looking for real estate, or going and doing something else that I can do. If it's my taxes, I don't know all the tax code. I don't know how all the programs work. I don't know how. So what do you do if you're doing enough properties, that you're flipping enough properties, or you're managing enough properties, or you own enough properties? It's better to just go ahead and get someone to do your books, in my opinion, because I don't want to have to train myself on how to become a CPA. It's like, you don't want to represent yourself as a lawyer. Could you? Sure you can. But you're probably not going to do a great job.
Yeah.
So I can't train myself to be a CPA. I would get a CPA to do it. There are certain things you just don't do yourself. And that would be one of them. And, it's not that I couldn't. It just would, wow, what a pain. So that would probably be one. And there have been lots of things I procrastinate all the time. I have to talk myself through things all the time. It's just a matter of, it's just baby steps. I never think about renovating an entire house. That project is too big. What I think about is, the first thing I got to do is, I know all these things have to do, but I'm not going to focus on that. What I'm going to focus on is, I just have to all I got to do today is call the seller. All I have to do is, get a seller, get a buyer, or buy the property, sell the property. I just have to do that today. It's the only thing I have to do. The next day, I just have to set up the closing. I just have to, just little tiny baby steps. Before you know it, you look back and it's done. You know, and the problem is most people can't pull the trigger. They just can't do that. It's too big of a project. They talk about it. I have a friend right now that's been talking about, for a year and a half, he's been talking about investing in real estate. I literally have told him I'm trying to hold his hand through the whole process. He just can't do it. I'm like, I will help you the whole way. He just can't seem to do it. It's just some things, it seems like too big of a project for someone. I don't understand that.
So he's psyching himself out, or he's overwhelmed, or
he's just
like, what is it?
Well, a lot of people are daydreamers too. They don't realize it. It just, what is it? The trip of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. The fact is that that's the problem, is that they're like, he's always like, yeah, I could do this and get this and this much real estate and this and this and this. I understand, but the first thing you have to do is go find a property. And then you have to call the seller. I love daydreaming too, but I save my daydreaming for when I lay down at night. You know how many times I've sat there and started thinking, well, when this happens and this, and then I immediately stop myself and go, whoa, what are you doing? How are you going to daydream, or are you actually going to do something? So, to me, it's pick up the phone and make the phone call. What does it matter? Go ahead and do this. Drive over to the property. Go on the internet and find this. Make the call to the guy who's selling the property. These are the little things that have to be done. You can then daydream about when it's completely done and you sell it and you get your check for 40 grand. Then you get to daydream. Right now, make the phone call. The truth is, you're just never going to get to that point if you don't make that phone call.
Subscribe for more interview videos of Matt Cox. Also, if you're interested in learning how to flip houses or buying your first rental property, we can help. More info is in the description and also at nittygrittyrealestate.com. Thanks for watching.